Welcome, welcome, welcome. It is Saturday morning, so you know it's time for another live edition of The Extra Point. Mr. P.L. Coulter coming to you live from the DFW and coming to you live from the D-Aura, Miss Tasha T. Sizzle. How goes it today, madam?
Sorry, I had to get my last little bit of my cake.
Hey, she sent me a picture of that cake last night. Me and Mike both did like this in the chat. Like, oh, okay, you can't ship a brother a forkful, a spoonful, homemade. I love it. We love y'all too. Thank y'all for joining us. We got to talk about a lot of shenanigans. The NBA has been on full cut up. Wait, whoa. We coming in hot. We coming in hot this morning. Hey, I'm jealous. I want the whole cake. Give me the whole cake.
I ain't trying to do no spoilers for y'all. But like everybody's saying about Snowfall, it be your own people.
Snowfall. You know what? And don't spoil that because I haven't done the last season yet. Y'all saw the cake with that. Gino had some too, though, Sasha.
See,
hey, you know what? Speaking of Denise, let's send a shout out to our sponsor before we get things rolling.
We're sponsored by May Jane's Coffee. That's M-A-E.
And caramel cake.
MEAJANES coffee.com. Again, guys, we're under construction, but she does still load content onto her Instagram, and you can still go on her website for any updates.
Right on. And we are also brought to you by Wolverine Comics TX, hosted by our brother from another mother, Mr. Michael Hasso, Jasso. Make sure you follow and support Wolverine Comics TX for all of your comic book wants and needs. Now, T Sizzle, this is going to be a very good show for you because a lot of the stuff that you jinxed the NBA about with your banter has come to fruition, and now we need you to explain something because you done jinxed the whole damn league. Let's start with this. We're 7 days into the NBA playoffs. Your hair looks great. Yeah, we're 7 days into the NBA playoffs, and we already have an all-NBA caliber list of injuries. Let's run these down real quick, shall we? Joel Embiid, out with a knee injury. Giannis Antetokounmpo, out with a back injury. John Morant, out with a hand injury. Kawhi, out with a knee injury. Tyler Hero broke his damn hand in game 1. Now, this seems to fly in the face of load management, something that you have detested from the NBA from the start. Is this the final nail in the coffin for quote-unquote load management, you think? Because it doesn't seem to be working.
I mean, it's not working because you still have all of these people that are injured. I mean, I think load management was a way to say, hey, I'm tired. I don't want to play today.
Right.
That, to me, that's what load management was. You got everyone you named is first of all, Giannis is the team.
He's the NBA. He's the best player in the NBA right now.
So you got him out. I mean, the way he fell on his back, I mean, you couldn't stop that.
Right.
Even with Ja, possible could have been face of the NBA. The way he fell, you couldn't prevent that.
Right.
Now, Kawhi with them knees.
Now let's do Kawhi because he's our best case study. They didn't play him on back-to-backs. They rested him at every wake and turn. They kept his minutes very low because they wanted to ramp him up for the playoffs. And in game 1 and 2, he was phenomenal. He was 2019 Toronto Kawhi, but he's still out with a knee injury. He still missed last game, and he's going to miss today's game as well. What's the point?
And it's like with Kawhi's injury, he has these phantom injuries. And when I sent that, whoever, I think Mike sent that or whatever, and I commented on it, when did we ever see him limping? When did we see him hurt?
Right.
And I think it was the Beijing King himself, Jalen Rose, that said it last night. A lot of this started with him in San Antonio where he had knee injuries, but he went misdiagnosed. So maybe I can understand them erring on the side of caution when it comes to him and his knee issues. But, bro, you've been off, and I love Kawhi. It'll never be no Kawhi, the gloves slander allowed.
Right.
You've been off like almost 2 years. Why is your knee still an issue?
And not only why is your knee still an issue, why does it always seem to be some confusion between Kawhi and the front office of the team that he's with in regard to these injuries. Like you said, there was the misdiagnosis with the Spurs. Then he goes to Toronto, had a small sample size. He was able to play through the playoffs. But ever since he's been to LA, he's been a walking DNP. Like literally, him and Paul George have played in less than 20 playoff games combined together. And those are the two heaviest load managed people in the entire NBA. When Ty Lue was asked, he's the head coach of the Clippers, when he was asked about Kawhi's availability 2 days ago, he looked shocked. He was like, I have no clue. Ask his uncle. You know what I'm saying? Because Kawhi will be like, put your mom on the phone. I ain't coming in today. That's just what it is. Everybody got that one person on the job who just won't come in and won't give you no reason why. That seems to be Kawhi. Where do the Clippers go from here? Because it looks like, and we're going to get into Phoenix versus the Clippers, but as far as load management goes, what else can you do? What else can you do?
I mean, I'm not going to go as far as Screaming A. Smith did and say, oh, he needs to retire. I'm not going to go that far. But if you had your knee surgically repaired, is it something else going on that we don't know? Because like I said last week, Kawhi is very, very quiet. Right. You don't hear Kawhi talking a lot. You have people that talk for him. Is there something going on that he's just like, hey, I don't need everybody to know this, which is his, his right. But in a game like this, when you got a whole organization depending on you, you're going to have, I mean.
And Tasha, not just depending on you, they moved heaven and earth to get the player that you wanted to come with you to LA in Paul George. You got private planes, you got helicopters, you get all the carte blanche.
Like now, with everything in NFL, people are taking more health conscious choices. Like, Megatron retired because they wanted to keep popping him with pills when he was like, hey, this marijuana makes me feel better. It has the same purposes as these pills that you're trying to give me. So is it about him trying to conserve his body? I mean, Kawhi is barely 30 if he is 30.
Right.
And maybe, I think he has 2 young children. Maybe he wants to be there to walk with his children and not be a cripple. I mean, I really don't understand it.
But the thing is, and I thought it was overboard by Stephen A. Smith as well, calling him the worst superstar of this generation because of his availability. It's not like Kawhi ducks smoke when he's out there because he was going at KD in games 1 and 2.
He was basically shutting KD down.
And he was shutting KD down. KD hadn't had 30 points in this playoff series yet with Kawhi guarding him. But and what's going on, Anita Nicole? Giving you the best that I got. All right.
You never keep calling her Anita Nicole.
I'm just saying it's the gown. It gives me Anita. So classy and elegant.
All right. Something I can give you.
Shouts out to Motown. Keeping it down. All right. Let's kind of move this load management conversation forward because we're going to get into these games specifically. The NBA's new CBA, the collective bargaining agreement, says that players must now play at least 65 games to be eligible for regular season awards. And we all know, just look at John Morant, regular season awards can equal millions and millions of dollars on the back end of your contract. Do you think that would be a better deterrent from load management than just, hey, let's just roll the dice and see what happens?
No. Thank you, Shamika. He ought to quit.
Looking good, Shamika. Looking good. So you're saying no?
That's not a big enough incentive to me. I mean, I guess if you're thinking about an all NBA type thing, yes. But those individual awards, really, who cares about anything other than the MVP? Like, I really don't care about the defensive player or the comeback player or the best 6 man. I don't care about that. Do they even still do the NBA that show, the award show after the end of the season when nobody really cares?
Right. Now, Jason is checking in. Shouts out to Jason. He says, I love seeing Kawhi when he's always plays, but there's something they are hiding from us that I don't like that. Now, the hide is from Kawhi, because I really don't think the organization has a clue on what's going on. Because you think they would use that to leverage against them.
I mean, they also didn't know that their previous owner was one of the biggest in the world.
Right, but the new owner seems to be one of the biggest fanboys in the world, and you would think that he would do anything to keep Kawhi. Hell, he gives him his private jet, lets him take a helicopter to practice like he's Kobe. gives him carte blanche. He misses practice. He misses games. He
But
has
that
entourage
but
fly
I
with
think
him.
that was part of the thing of getting him because he actually lives in San Diego. He didn't want to move to LA.
Come on now. Now, if I'm doing all that for you, you can at least give me an explanation on what's going on with them busted up knees of yours. Do you think it's a Penny Hardaway degenerative type of issue? Because once Penny went down with the first knee injury, his career was done for the most part.
I mean, we'll know if he start running like Kenny Smith.
You stopped that. Oh, up running up to the board, to the big board. Just like I'm building me a home. Just
He was
laboring.
like this.
Oh, do you see Kawhi returning for these playoffs?
No.
Because we know when he calls out, he calls out. He don't miss a shift. He misses a whole week of work. So I don't see him coming back either, and I think that's a shame because Ty Lue is a great coach. Shamika says she don't think he's coming back either. And if you're a KD fan, whoo,
I
because
mean, I'm a
Clippers
fan
was giving
of
him that
both.
work.
So, I mean, I was already kind of, hold on. CJ, tranquilo, papi. I was already torn because I'm a KD and a Kawhi fan.
Right. Now let's get into some of these games that are going on and see if we changed our mind on who's going to win these series. Last night, Atlanta saved their season by beating Boston. Let's see, it was 130 to 122. Boston is still up 2-1, but Atlanta protected home court. Trae Young was the best player on the court last night, hit him for over 30 points. Some big shots down the stretch when Boston was making a comeback to try to take the control of the game late in the fourth quarter. But you sent me something earlier this week that said that he was the most overrated player in the league, voted by his peers. Do you agree with that? Is Trae Young one of the most overrated players in the league?
I'm not going to say the most overrated, but I think at this point he may be the most disappointing.
Really?
Yeah. But I'm not going to say overrated because when we were calling him Ice Trae, I mean, I was one that was rooting for him.
Right.
So I'm not going to say he's overrated, but look at, like said, the WNBA. Candace Parker's peers did the same thing to her. Now, he has not accomplished nearly as much as Candace Parker has, but you know, her peers voted her the most overrated. But I think that was a little hatred.
I think that was a little shade too, because of some of the opportunities that she gets that others feel like they're just as worthy of as well. Being on TNT and crossing over to the NBA. And right, Russell Westbrook was going to have a stroke. How much he was playing to the refs the other night. Hey, Russell, I'm going to give you your flowers, bro. You've been balling. And you got sold a bill of goods because Kawhi, never trust Kawhi's knees. Can we just get this out the way now?
I mean, because
never trust his damn knees.
This version of playoff Russ is really, Russell Westbrook is doing what he's supposed to be doing. But if you don't have Kawhi and you don't have why can I never think Paul George? Then you're going to have to rely on Westbrook to make you a viable, candidate.
And he's not that dude anymore.
And he's not that guy anymore. He's just not. He's a role player now.
Now, do you have Atlanta making this a series, or was this just a bump in the road for Boston?
No.
Oh, all right. Now, another game that we watched last night that had us firing off some jokes was the Knicks and the Cavs, the 5th seed versus the 4th seed. Now, the Garden was rocking last night. New York stood up last night. I thought it was a Wu-Tang reunion in the Garden, the way they was hollering and screaming and falling all over the place. They held the Cavs to 79 points. Now, I know I joked about the Knicks offense last night, but they're playing Patrick Ewing, Charles Oakley, Anthony Mason defense right now in New York. Are the Cavs in trouble down 2-1?
Well, I mean, I think so. Like I always use my favorite reference in the Purple Rain. When the guy told Prince, you better kick ass tonight. Like, that's how.
And Langston enters the chat. Shouts out to Unc.
The Cavs better kick ass on Sunday, or it's not gonna be good. Remember, I told you I did not trust the Knicks, and one of the reasons I don't trust them is because of their offense.
Well, we have a 20-year sample size that they come up lame in the biggest moments.
Because I sent you that meme last night of Allen Houston when he hit that. That's the last time. And we did that and pumped his fist like that. That's the last.
Took out the Heat as an 8 seed with that shot. That was a big time shot. Shouts out to Allen Houston. Jalen Brunson, let's give him his flowers. He's pretty much played Donovan Mitchell to a standstill. I mean, two of the 3 games the Cavs failed to score 100 points. If you're not scoring 100 points, you're not beating many teams in the NBA playoffs. Are the Knicks, do you think we should take them a little more seriously as these playoffs progress?
Look, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me.
So you still gonna take the wait and see approach?
Yeah, because even if they do make it out of this series, I don't see them doing anything else.
Right, because they would have Giannis up waiting on them in the second round, if so. But still, if you're a New York Knicks fan, as Jarrell said, that's his side team. You know, I guess it's good to have them back in the mix, and it's good to have the Garden back on national television. Yeah. That's good for the league. I agree. But Cleveland, you got too much talent to be scoring 79 points in a playoff game. I don't give a damn who you playing.
Out of all that robbed Michigan basketball team 2013, the only player whose name is being mentioned is Karis LeVert. So if some youngsters out there listening, stay in school. I don't know who these other cats, who y'all listening to, telling y'all to come out.
Right.
Y'all, y'all want to go to the G League and you never make it out of the G League just so you get some money in your pocket. Karis LeVert stayed when the other team members left.
And he developed his game, and he has the longest career out of all of them and the most productive career out of all of them. And he was the sixth man on that championship team. Right.
And none of the others, have they ever been to the playoffs? I think Trey Burke, but he wasn't like a star.
No, Trey Burke was the give me 5 guy. Oh, at timeouts. To run out there and give all the stars 5 that's coming off the court. He was the give me 5 guy. I mean, now, Tim Hardaway Jr. has had some decent minutes in the playoffs, playing alongside Luka.
Just cooling LeVert. He started last night.
Right, and shouts out to Nashville. Garland is from Nashville. He has been balling. Now, Langston Moore, let's give him his flowers real quick. He is the Encyclopedia Britannica of Nashville sports. He will tell you what church he went to, like he was in the boys' choir in Mount Zion. Like, Langston will have you ready with the Nashville love and the Nashville sports. Shouts out. Good morning, baby cakes. Now, she melts my heart when she says this stuff. Taking notes and learning. I should get student of the month. You can go. You're on the honor roll.
For Melanie. Gold star.
You're in Abbott Elementary.
We're gonna make that a red star for Melody with a little elephant in the middle.
All right, shouts out, and good morning, baby cakes. Now let's go ahead and breeze through this one. Denver went up 3-0 on Minnesota last night. Don't laugh. That's to say funny. Are we not taking Denver serious enough? Do I take that as a no? Or is this just they're playing Karl Anthony Towns? Is this what all this is?
I'm flipping the page. It's not even.
Okay, Bobby Valentino, you don't have to turn the page. All right.
I mean, again, Denver has been at the top for the last few years, and they haven't done anything. They haven't shown me anything to make me even be interested. Right. Yeah, you got Jokic out there, always a top name when it comes to MVP voting, but they haven't done anything. I have not seen a Denver Nuggets game since Dikembe Mutombo. Or
when he's holding the ball like this.
When Allen Iverson went there after Detroit traded him, that's the last time.
Damn, Tasha, half these Gen Zers weren't even alive when that happened. Now, let's flip over to Minnesota real quick. Now, last year they get bounced in the first round by the Memphis Grizzlies. They go out in the offseason and they trade for Rudy Gobert, give up 4 first-round picks, a pick swap in the first round, and Walker Kessler, who's a rookie, who actually played very well for the Utah Jazz this year. Probably could have used that body in this series. Is it too early to call this trade one of the worst trades in NBA history? They didn't make it any further. They went backwards, actually. They were a 7 seed last year without Gobert. They're an 8 seed this year with Gobert, and they're about to get swept. Is this one of the worst trades in NBA history?
I'm not going to say one of the worst trades. The pieces ain't fitting. You know how sometimes you have a puzzle and you're trying to force the piece and you take it and you hit it like that?
Right.
That's what's going on.
Y'all, it's Karl Anthony Towns for me. I don't even have any smoke for Rudy Gobert. Karl Anthony Towns, what the hell are you doing out there? You're a 7 foot.
Playing forward behind the 3-point line.
No, he's playing backwards. Forward, we ain't saying he's doing nothing forward. Forward gives the implication of progression. There's no progression in his game. The last night, they were bodying him up with forwards, and he couldn't get loose. He's standing out working around the three-point line. This ain't 2K, bruh. You talking about you the best shooting big man in the league, but Jokic is giving you that work. Rudy Gobert is one of the laughing stocks of the NBA, and he's playing better than you. I'm just saying, I don't trust Karl Anthony Towns. Besides, no man wants to be known as a cat. You want to be known as a dog, a bear, a shark. Nothing scary about no damn cat. Let's move on. I'm going to go ahead and answer that question. This is one of the worst trades in NBA history because if
Why?
you just
Why do you say that?
Because you gave up 4 first-round picks. Anthony Edwards is in his prime. I mean, he's a young player that hadn't entered his prime yet. If you would have held on to those picks and just ran that team back, then at least, you're 7, 8 seed, and you got some picks to go and get a superstar, not a role player. You don't give up 4 first-round picks for a Rudy Gobert when you have a starting center on your team. Yeah. Who plays 2 centers now? You ain't the Houston Rockets with a team and Ralph Sampson. That was 35 years ago.
This ain't Georgetown.
Right. Now this is the mic drop. Cat is softer than a new pillow. And we know how them new pillows be. Your head just sink into that mug. A little slob on the side. No slob. In a nutshell, let's move on. All right, so today we got a bunch of fantastic games. We may even have some people get eliminated today. Let's start with an elimination game. At noon, I believe, the 76ers got a commanding 3-0 lead over the Brooklyn Nets. Brooklyn should have beaten them Thursday night, but they didn't. But they lose Joel Embiid to a knee sprain. He has a sprained knee. He will be out today. Tasha, can the 76ers take care of business today without the league MVP?
I think so. I don't think that Embiid being there is really making a difference.
Look, don't do us like that, Langston. We know you got 5 promotions in 8 years, but the rest of us are still working on that. Don't do us like that.
And I'm on these Dominican grade pillows. I get what I can get.
Right. Them 3-for-1 still work now. All right, go ahead. You're talking about Embiid.
I don't think that's a difference maker because as you remember when I asked you last week, how are the Nets even in the playoffs? It's because before KD and Kyrie left, they had such a high standing.
Right.
So I'm just going to keep seeing them go down, 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 and down. This, I think, is going to be the trend for next season as well.
Right. And Shamika just echoed that. Brooklyn wouldn't even made it to the playoffs had it not been for them playing before the trades. That is true. KD and before he went down, they had won 11 in a row before he went down, and then Kyrie picked up and he started balling after that. So yeah, we're gonna holler at y'all, Brooklyn. Is Brooklyn in the house? Without a doubt. I'm the rapper with clout. Other rappers rap about. Hey, shouts out to
come on, Biggie
Smalls. Shouts out to our favorite mother, Miss Sheila Hastings, checking in. Now we've talked about Kawhi. And they're down 2-1 to the Phoenix Suns, who now have life after Devin Booker went bonkers the last 2 games. Is this over with no Kawhi and no Paul George? Does Ty Lue have any chips left to push to the table?
And I hate it because Ty Lue is such a good coach. He's such a great coach.
He is.
So I'm hating that for him. But if you got 2 of your top players, your 2 stars out, I mean, I hate it because, I picked Phoenix to go to the finals anyway. So, yeah, I think they're dead in the water.
Let's project forward because I believe both of these teams will be waiting on each other when we hit the show next week. Denver, Phoenix. Early on, who do you think would have a better series? Jokic? Oh, you already said you got him to the finals. I'm just saying, do you give will Denver even pinch the bitch?
I mean, there's always a chance. Like I said, Jokic is not in consideration for these awards at the end of the season for no reason.
That is true.
So I think he's still going to do his thing, but I'm just still going to pick Phoenix.
And we all know how the DNA runs. He's not soft. You saw his brothers take on the Morris twins, and that's So, he got a little thug in him. All right. Now, let's go with the Clippers. If you're the Clippers, you've given up so much to bring on Paul George and to bring on Kawhi. You have a great coach. You have great pieces around them. Is it time to blow this thing up? How much patience do you have with Kawhi's knees? Can you do this another season?
They should have blew this up last year. But I guess
really?
they were always saying, it's hope, keep hope alive. And I really think that they were hoping that it would come together, because if it would have come together, they wouldn't be in the seed where they are, and they would not be playing Phoenix right now.
Right. Which everybody wanted to avoid in that first round, because obviously they have the most talented starting five of everybody that's left in the playoffs. That's probably next to Boston. I think Boston has a pretty good starting five as well. Milwaukee and Miami. Now, I want to give out an award, the You Need Your Ass Whooped Award. And that goes to the Miami Heat. You're up 1-0. Giannis misses game 2. You go into Milwaukee and get boat raced by 30 points with the Giannis-less Bucks team. Now you're going back to Miami. It's one game apiece, and you just bought Giannis some extra time to get that back right and to get out of here. Can Milwaukee get out of this? Can they continue to win this without Giannis?
Now, they can get through Miami, but that next round, they're going to need Giannis. Because, again, the only reason why people are putting Milwaukee above and beyond everyone is because of Giannis. If they go up against a Knicks team in the next round, they're out. Hey, life for me ain't always been no crystal staff. That's what they could be saying.
Right. What does this say about Miami, though? You lay an egg in game 2. You barely made the damn playoffs after making the Eastern Conference Finals last year. I mean, you get in on the last night of the regular season in the play-in tournament. If you lose this series, is it time to blow that thing up with Bam Adebayo and Jimmy Buckets?
I mean, Bam and Jimmy are the pieces that you can keep, but if you blow the team up, who are you going to get? I don't understand why superstars don't want to come to Miami. I mean, come on.
Because Pat Riley runs an iron fist type of ship. Like, it's his way or the highway.
I mean, it worked when you had LeBron and all of them there. I mean, Pat Riley was still in control. You didn't see Dwayne Wade and LeBron James taking over the organization.
That's part of the reason why he's rumored to have left, because his entourage wouldn't get carte blanche treatment. The same rules apply for LeBron that apply for Udonis Haslem.
Right. Now, if Pat Riley, I mean, he's shown he knows what he's doing. He's won. He got the same slick back he had when it was the Lake Show in the 80s. You can't come in and run that man over, but maybe he's getting a little long in the tooth. Maybe he needs to,
And do you think speaking of long in the tooth, Eric Spoelstra has been there a long time as well. Do you think that it's time for a new voice in Miami?
But I can't necessarily say it's the coach. I have a big issue when it's coach versus player. You get coaches fired because the team is not producing. Well, I think that's the player's fault, because you know how to play basketball.
Right. The coach ain't out there breaking threes.
Right. Whether I'm coaching you or not, you should be able to make these plays.
Right.
Or is it the coach ain't calling the right plays? But at the end of the day, if you're a baller, you're a baller.
Right.
You hate Jordan, but Jordan and Kobe were the two that would be like, nah, we ain't doing this. Let me
explain. Hold on. I don't hate Jordan. I hate 90s basketball, and he's the face of it. So he got to catch the ultimate smoke for winning all the damn time and ruining my groove.
That was when it was good. That's when you can put your hands on people.
See, you wanted to see fist fights. I told you that the Knicks and the Heat used to go 78-74 in double OT, and your response to me was, yeah, but they was fighting, though.
You remember they got the fight and they drugged Jeff Van Gundy by his leg? He was trying to break.
Look, Goon Squad in the comment section, the 90s were the worst decade of basketball. They were worse than the 80s, worse than the 2000s and the 2010s. I'm sorry. That there was too many expansion teams. it was watered down product, and nobody would beat MJ. Step up. Damn, Reggie Miller. We couldn't get one.
But he could score 89 points in 7 seconds against the Knicks.
Right. Patrick Ewing missing the game 7 layup. Like, what are we doing here? Charles Smith getting blocked 6 times in 2 seconds when you could have went up 3-1. You know what? I'm gonna just bring this on back in. Let's get to the matchup everybody want to talk about anyway. Because tonight, around 9:30ish, the Memphis Grizzlies will invade Tinseltown to take on LeBron James and the Lakers. Now, the Lakers, I want to give you your flowers right now because last week you said I got the Grizz in 7, but if AD plays up to his potential, aka street clothes, then the Grizzlies are in trouble. Now, I got some nerd stats to kind of back you up. Game 1, the Lakers blow out the Grizzlies. AD, 22, 12, and 7 blocks. He had a plus-minus of plus 27. They outscored the Grizzlies by 27 when he was on the floor in Game 1. Game 2, he goes 4-14, 13 points, 9 rebounds. He was -4 when he was on the floor in Game 2. What are we going to see Game 1 AD or Game 2 AD tonight in LA?
That's the thing. You never know with street clothes. You never know. The same way he had that little stinger that he had, and he came back. Who's to say?
Yeah, he did. Yep.
Who's to say an injury won't happen this time, and then they're gonna have to cart him off like they did Dwayne Wade in the wheelchair, and what's his name to play for Boston? Paul Pierce in the wheelchair. But we think he had the boo-boo, but he said he didn't. But either way it go, you never know when it comes to street clothes, and he's the key to them winning. It's not even LeBron. It's out of LeBron's hands. It comes down to him.
Now, speaking of LeBron had gotten thrown into the fire this week because after Game 2, Dillon Brooks stood in front of a national media and said that LeBron was old, that he was washed up, that he doesn't respect anybody who doesn't give him 40. And now, obviously, he said that with a little swag because we did the research. And LeBron James has never scored 40 points on Dillon Brooks in 11 career meetings against him. Do you think this is going to inspire a Heat-like performance from the King tonight? What are you expecting from LeBron?
I mean, I just expect LeBron to go out there and play like a guy who's been in the league for 20 years. Dillon Brooks, to some extent, is correct. And right. I don't think...
That hurt my feelings, too. I'm like, don't do the King like that.
They said Dillon Brooks has got on LeBron's nerves more than what's his name, Stevenson did.
Yeah, the ear-blowing dude. Yeah.
So, I mean, until LeBron shuts Dillon's mouth, Dillon's got a right to pop his ish,
And he played phenomenal against LeBron in the first 2 games, as much as you can play against a player of that caliber.
But as I also said, you got to respect LeBron, because LeBron could go. I still got my hairline, LeBron, on you.
LeBron, if he wanted to, he could turn this into a me versus Dillon and score 50 tonight. I will bet my mortgage on that. But that's not the way for them to win. As you alluded to last week, it has to go through AD because that's where they have the advantage with with Memphis missing their 2 big men, their starting center and their backup center. So you don't want LeBron out there jacking up 53s, trying to give, Dillon 40 points. You want AD to dominate because when he was dominating, the Memphis Grizzlies had to collapse. He would kick it out. Rui Hachimura hitting 3s, Austin Reeves hitting 3s, Malik Beasley hitting 3s. It was just a recipe for disaster in Game 1. What do you see happening in the Game 3? Do you think it's an LA route on tonight?
I think LA is going to show up tonight. Again, if street clothes show up, they win. If he don't, it's going to be – I still see them winning this game. It'll just be tougher.
Like, now let's go to the other side with the Grizzlies, speaking of playing or not, because Ja didn't play in Game 2 and they won. They looked horrible in Game 1 when he did play. And I heard the whispers and some chatter about the Grizzlies looking better or being better without Ja. If you're the Memphis Grizzlies and you tie the series up and now you're in LA 1-1 instead of down 0-2, do you give Ja another couple of days to rest or do you put him back in the lineup tonight?
look, that's your superstar. Regardless, you got to have him in the game. That was my question. I was going to ask you, when is he supposed to come back? You got to have Ja in the game. Like
Right.
he's 80% of the reason you're where you are.
Right. Right. And I appreciate you saying that because I've had to explain that at work ad nauseum this week where, hey, look like they better without Ja. Like, did you see the series against Golden State last year? When Ja hit the game winner in game 2, he goes down in game 3 and they get smoked game 3, 4, 5, and 6. Like, I get it. Shouts out to Tyus Jones. He's a great backup. He's the highest paid backup point guard in the league for a reason. But he is no John Morant. He can't control and dictate pace. He was 1 for 8 shooting last on Wednesday. So enough of that about that. Do you still have the Grizzlies in 7, Tasha T. Sizzle?
I still got the Grizzlies. I mean, I just don't really see how LA can sustain this.
Right. It's the AD factor for me, and you've eloquently said that all week. What AD are you going to get? And this is not just going back to this series. This is going back to his days in New Orleans. One night he's going to give you a 50 piece. The next night he's going to give you 10 and 5. The next night he's injured and he's out for 5 weeks. Then he comes back and he has a mini tear where he's averaging 40. Then he goes
gets
back
hurt again.
Right.
And he's sitting over there Gucci from head to toe.
I will root for Memphis when they stop charging $5 to get on.
Boom, 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 boom. Whoop that trick. Boom,
hey,
whoop that trick.
Hey,
that trick.
Now I know y'all heard that whoop that trick playing in the crowd. when I heard whoop that trick, I was like, it's over for you, LA. Grizz and 4. All right. Now Melanie says, I think LeBron needs to keep being LeBron. He is at a stage where he doesn't have to prove himself to anyone! ! You go make it 20. Oh, Dillion, she just told you. You gonna make it 20 years.
And that's kind of like what
he's not gonna make it 20 years in the league, Melanie.
But that's what I've been, trying to say. Like LeBron,
excellent point, by the way.
LeBron, and it is. LeBron really has nothing. When you asked last week who had more to prove, I don't really think LeBron has anything to prove right now. Right. If he gets anything towards the end, okay, right, it's kudos to you. Right. But he really doesn't have to prove anything to anybody.
And let's not be fooled, y'all. If you hadn't heard from the national media, you're going to hear it right here on the Extra Point. What Dillon Brooks is doing is he's in the last year of his contract, and the Memphis Grizzlies tried to move him before the trade deadline because his three-point shooting is so inconsistent. They offered 4 first-round picks for Mikal Bridges from Phoenix, but Phoenix elected to do business on the East Coast because they didn't want to give their player away to somebody they may meet in the playoffs. So that's why Dillon Brooks is still a Memphis Grizzly now. So if you're Dillon Brooks, you're on the national stage, you're playing against the greatest player of his generation, you're going to start poking the bear to get some eyes on you, to maybe they watch you play defense to get you a little more money this summer, because you pretty much know the Grizzlies aren't going to sign you.
Right.
So there's your Dillon Brooks in a nutshell, and why he's all of a sudden so mouthy. They're not re-signing him. He knows they tried to move him. They didn't want to move him and if you're KD, I don't blame you. Why in the hell are we going to give Ja Bridges when you send me out to the West? We're not going to have to fool with that. We're going to send him to Brooklyn where he is no bother to us. That's a shrewd move by KD. And I say KD because KD would have to sign off on any type of move like that before he gets traded. Definitely. Right. So that's a shrewd move by KD. I'm not giving Memphis Mikal Bridges. He's averaging 30 points a game for Brooklyn right now. Hell no. You put him on the Grizzlies instead of Dillon Brooks, and they're easily the favorites in the West. So that's the thing with Dillon Brooks, y'all. Don't be fooled by all of this foolishness that he does. Now, the last big game that's going down on Sunday is going to be a season-saving game as well. We got Sacramento up 2-1 over Golden State. Golden State saved their series Thursday night in a blowout win without Draymond mouth-breathing Green. Now,
wait a minute. What you call that man?
The mouth breather. And Langston, I mean this with all due respect. Like Coach Williams. Down the Miller.
Down the Miller.
Down the Miller. Just the mouth breather. But I digress. So, Tasha, question for you: Draymond's suspension is up tonight. Should he have been suspended in the first place for going Kirk Franklin on Sabonis?
Yeah.
So you agree that was a valid suspension?
I agree with that. And you hate to keep bringing up people's past into it, but he has a history, a current. How you say a current past? He has a current past.
Right. And I like what you did there. You're absolutely right. Of
doing things like this. So that lame ass excuse he gave, you did that on purpose. You tried to crack that man's sternum like I did that one girl before. Okay.
Anyway, that's the other show. That's After Dark TEP.
You tried to crack that man's sternum because if you were falling, if you were trying to prevent your fall the way at the angle that you were, you would have failed anyway.
Right. That's the whole thing.
You would have failed anyway. And then for them saying the ironic part of having one of the bad boys be the judge on that. Okay, you had Joe Dumars, bad boy, who really was not gonna put his hands on nobody. Joe Dumars,
he was the good bad boy.
Right, he was the good bad boy. So yeah, I can see him and him being around it for 10 years or so. He know BS when he see BS.
He's like, I know goonery when I see it, fool. Right. You asking the wrong person.
Y'all know I played with Bill Lambier?
Right.
Do y'all not know that?
That's like having Tina Turner be the judge over a domestic violence case.
Come on.
She's you can't fool me, sucker.
Who you gonna get better than Tina for that, huh?
Right. So he is the perfect person to dole out punishment in this regard. Now,
but I do think that it was justified.
I agree. Now, do you think that his return benefits Golden State or hurts Golden State? Because here's my issue. When Golden State was up 2-0, I'm sorry, they were down 2-0, it was because they had two players in their starting lineup in their front court that can't score. Kevon Looney is not a scorer, and neither is Draymond Green. They weren't even looking to score. So you can double Clay. You can double Steph. Now, when Jordan Poole entered the lineup, shouts out to Michigan. Michigan is all in these playoffs, y'all. Y'all hear me? So when Jordan Poole entered in before him, you get to spread the floor. Everybody's a threat to shoot. You can't cheat off of Jordan Poole and go double Steph. He's going to kill you for 30. And that's exactly what happened. Is this a good thing for the Kings or for the Warriors that Draymond's coming back tomorrow?
I think the only good thing about him being back is the fact that they will be in the Oracle. That's the only good thing. But, I like to take away really his contributions to all the success that the Warriors have had because I just think he's just a coattail player.
Right.
But he actually does what Golden State needs him to do. He gets in there and he rattles the Hornets' nest. So
he's an excellent passer. He does have a high basketball IQ, and he will get the dirty stuff done.
Right. So if that's his contribution to those championships, he's done his job. He's done what they want him to do. But I don't really think Draymond is going to make that much difference because what Mike Brown is doing with
Coach of the Year, Mike Brown.
Coach of the Year, Mike Brown. Always bet on black. What Mike Brown is doing is phenomenal. But you think Mike Brown ain't just no run-of-the-mill type coach. He was in Cleveland. He coached LeBron. He was in the Lakers. He knows.
He was on Golden State staff. His acumen is up and above,
a normal coaching sphere. So I'm not gonna. I mean, man, I know I picked the Warriors, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Kings pulled this out.
I am starting to lean toward the Kings now. I was iffy about it last week, but I think the Kings get it in 7 because Golden State went on the road.
Because and that first game, the way the Kings came out and played, I was like, okay, Mike Brown, you done put some in your boys' ears, and you got Arvidas' boy
in Golden State too.
Right, and Arvidas' boy is out there talking trash. He's I think he's the only child of theirs that wasn't born in Lithuania. So he got some of that American, trash talk about him.
Right. Now, question, who would you take in a one-game playoff series as your coach? Ty Lue or Mike Brown?
Oh. Only reason I would give Ty Lue the nod is because Ty Lue was an actual player, and he probably would kind of know a little bit more to say. But I'm gonna go with Ty Lue.
I think I'm gonna go with Brown only because of the list of names that you rattled off on his resume. Now Shamika's going with Brown as well, but she says the Golden State only has to win one road game if they win all their home games, and they were 36-5 at home. Phenomenal team at home. The one game that I would be worried about them if I was Sacramento would be Game 7.
Yeah.
Now, if Game 7 at home, that would be the one where Draymond come in and snatch your soul.
Right.
And send the people out of there with their damn cowbells. Now, Tasha,
hey,
let me ask you this.
Cowbells, clank, clank.
Right. Is this the last dance for this iteration of the Warriors?
Hey, man, it's on a slow decline. I hate to count out certain players because Steph is among now one of the greatest.
One of my favorite players. He had a quote after the game on Thursday that I loved. He said, yeah, everybody told us that Draymond had a history, but we got a history too. Like, don't forget who we are.
Right. The Splash Brothers. Yeah. So I don't ever want to count a player of Steph's ability out.
Never. Right.
Play.
I'll bet your money. I won't bet my money against Steph.
Right. But every team reaches the top before they start going down.
Not Shamika, no, I'm gonna high five you for this one, Anita Nicole. But not only that, Draymond as well. Draymond wants his money too, and he's not getting it. He's gonna try to play in LA with LeBron.
Because no one is going to pay Draymond the money that he thinks he's a declining star. Right. He's getting up there in age. No one is going to pay that money.
And you can't shoot threes in an NBA league where 3-point shots are the norm now.
Right. Somebody will pay Clay that money simply because he did have that year off of the knee. He rested. He came back. He was a little rusty, but once this season started, he was back out there like he never left.
Right. And his game will age better than a Draymond because he doesn't have to be athletic. Just stand over in the corner and
look at Larry Bird. Look at all that Larry Bird accomplished. Even when Larry was jacking them threes up, Bird's foot was barely coming up off the ground.
Right. And Bird's illegitimate black baby, Jesus Shuttlesworth, how his game aged. You know,
right.
When he was with Miami, that corner three was
that's all he did. Shoot it out, give it to Shuttlesworth. Bam. For y'all don't know, Shuttlesworth. Yeah, I need y'all to go watch He Got Game, and y'all will get the reference about.
You got me calling this man Shuttlesworth now. God bless.
That's
a great point. That's why I think it's the last dance because of money. Just like it broke up the original Bulls. They didn't want to pay Pippen. They didn't want to pay the coach. They didn't want to pay nobody. Now she says Clay can shoot, mid-range shoot, and corner three, double dribble, shoot for the. He can, and that's why. Hey, look. Memphis on line one, Clay.
I don't know about the parquet. I don't know about that in Memphis.
Memphis on line one. If we just get us somebody over in the corner that can shoot over Dylan Brooks.
You got that, and his name is Ja Morant. Ooh, you see what I did?
I can't wait tonight for that game. Damn it, I can't wait. Now, one last thing. You sent me, and I'm going to pull this up here. You sent me, speaking of the CBA, about the NBA will be unveiling the in-season tournament next year. Now, I need y'all to be, before we get Tasha's thoughts on this, I just want to kind of give you an overview of what this is. Now, the NBA in-season tournament will feature all 30 teams and culminate with one champion. Each team will play a number of pool play games that determine the 8 teams that will advance to the single elimination tournament. The Final Four will be held at a neutral site. Now, how this works is the matchups have already been implemented as part of the regular season schedule and will count as pool play games. Even the single game elimination contest will count toward the regular season schedule. The 2 teams that reach the in-season tournament will play one extra game. They'll play 83 games. The winner of the tournament, each player gets $500,000. So there'll be no break in the action. They're going to use the regular season schedule as kind of like the tournament, and then the 8 teams go to a neutral site while the other teams resume their regular season schedule. Tasha, what is all this about? I'm kind of intrigued, but tell me your side first.
First of all, nobody asked for this. That's number one.
Is this like changing up the macaroni and cheese a recipe for Thanksgiving? Ain't nobody asked you to change nothing.
I think because Silver is hearing how the NBA is boring when it first starts, or because it's football season when it first starts.
Pause right there. You could have women in bikinis with doing flashing in the third and fourth quarters, and nobody's turning off a Thursday night football game.
And it's true. We don't really pay attention to basketball until Christmas Day. And then and then we only usually watch not even that first game. We usually watch the second and the third game.
Martrice just said it best. They add raisins to the potato salad.
I mean, because y'all know it's a lot of stuff I don't eat, and potato salad is one of them.
No, I love potato salad. I had some earlier this week, and raisins are disgusting. You don't do that.
It's already shaky. That is the perfect analogy, Trees.
The perfect analogy. Like, no, you said it. Shamika said it. Nobody asked for
Nobody asked for that. And I don't understand the point other than you're trying to give somebody an incentive of $500,000. Okay. But to real players who already got their coin, they're not going to give a damn about that $500,000.
And to the players that will need the $500,000, they're not low managing anyway.
Right,
they're playing for the stars.
Hey, they're going to be the ones that's in there playing. And if any coach got any sense, he going to start his star, then sit him down.
And then sit him down, right. Get you a couple of runs in, and we're going to sit you down in the first quarter. Look at these names again on the injury report in the playoffs. Giannis, Embiid, Ja, Kawhi. You think they playing in this tournament?
Do you? And then what?
Or do they need $500,000?
Right. And then you put them in the tournament, then guess what? Oop, they got hurt. So then there's the rest of the season. I'd rather get hurt in a game that meant something than in some stupid crap like this.
Right. It's like, for real. Right. You're doing too much. It's almost like on them sitcoms. You know that the sitcom is on its last leg when they add a mystery baby. A mystery kid shows up on the show. I
mean, and it's even like they already fought and won the right to have extra time off during All-Star game.
Right.
It's almost like you're taking it away because you're putting pressure onto someone who has already fought and said, "Hey, we play up until Thursday. All-Star starts Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Then we get Monday off, and then Tuesday we got to go back to work." Right.
But here's the problem with that, Tasha. They get that extra week off, but they have to make it up at the end of the season.
At the end of the season.
With all these back-to-backs that the players don't want to play in. Like, pick your players. Now, I do bang on the 90s NBA a lot. I do, because that's one of my arguments in the Jordan LeBron debate. But that's just sparring. One thing I will say, though, about the 90s, people weren't sitting out and they weren't missing the playoffs.
No.
They were playing 82 games and going through all of the playoff rounds.
And I told you, I had this friend, and he was a former NFL player, and he told me that he seriously believes a lot of the injuries are because the players now, athletes now, are bigger. He said that's a lot of weight. He said even though it's muscle, he says you got these children who are growing faster.
Right.
They're growing faster. They're not eating the same type of foods that we ate.
Right.
And then they're wanting to be so cut, so muscular. He says all of that weight, whether it's muscle or not, is not good for your body.
Just ask Zion. Your body shouldn't even be able to spring that high up off the ground at 302 pounds. And you're coming crashing down every time you're going up there to dunk.
He's also 65% blubber. But I digress.
Digress on that. Shamika says, this is the same foolishness that is now the All-Star game. You can't ask them to waste their time or risk stupid injury for little or no payment. It's little or no payment to Ja, who's about to sign a max, super max.
Right.
Joel Embiid is making $55 million a year. What's $500,000?
$500,000 is sneaker money for them.
That's side chick hush money.
Right. Because they get their sneakers comped.
Right. Like, they're not buying rounds of drinks at the bar. Hey, LeBron's in here, drinks on me. They're not paying for that stuff. You know what I'm saying? They're not going to the car lot and having to finance no damn car. You want people to see LeBron driving your car, so you'll go out and buy one. Tasha, that's a mess. Now, it's time for T-Sizzle's top 5, and we want to give T-Sizzle the platform to let us know the 5 impact players that she's really watching as these playoffs progress. T-Sizzle, the floor is yours.
Now, we were supposed to do this last week, so a lot of these names that are on my list are kind of like a mute point, and we've just pretty much discussed it. Impact players would be Joel Embiid.
Right. But the thing is, that's still impactful because he could come back. He could not come back. We have no clue. And that would have a huge impact on who makes it out of the East.
Right. And I mean, it may not be a factor in this first round, but in that second round, who are they slated to play? Boston.
Right. He's a very much an impact player to keep an eye on.
Now, even though we joked about this series, no one's really watching it per se. I got Ant. For those of you who don't know, that's Anthony Edwards. Anthony Edwards is more the focal point of that team than Karl Anthony Towns is to me.
Right.
Because we already know what you're going to get out of Karl Anthony Towns, which is nothing. So this may be his last hurrah, with this season when they play at the last game against Denver. But I think the only reason why they are viable even throughout this whole season was because of him.
Good morning, Auntie. And to back you up, Tasha, Ant has 76 points in the last 2 games in this series. It's not for a lack of trying on Ant's part.
Right. The next one I had, of course, Kawhi, because with no Paul George, Kawhi is he's key to them winning or even being, what am I trying to say, watchable in this series with Phoenix, who I chose to win.
But on a macro level, Kawhi was a huge name that has everything to do with these playoffs. Can you imagine if he didn't get hurt and now Phoenix is down 2-1? And if they were to knock out KD, what that would do to the Western Conference tier? Like that was a huge name. He is an impact player in the West because of his absence. Because he could have stopped KD from getting to the finals.
Right. And with that being said, KD is up next because Phoenix, you bought him there to make the difference, to get you over that hump, because you don't want any more embarrassing first round losses.
Right.
Or the year before when they made it to the Western Conference Finals and didn't advance.
Right. That's a 1 seed.
Right. You don't want that again. So KD is pivotal to Phoenix actually, I think, making it to those finals that I picked them.
Right.
And last but not least, as we talked about, is street clothes.
Right.
Even though that's King James' team, he got whatever GOAT photos with Rob Pelinka, Go Blue out there. The team is revolving around AD.
Now, Mike has a question for you. Shouts out to Michigan Mike of Wolverine Comics TX checking in. Tasha, you want to answer this? If the Suns lose, whose fault is it?
I don't know. Could you go again? This goes against the coach and the player type thing.
So you would put this on Monty?
I'm not going to put it on Monty, but is Monty a coach that can actually coach KD? Because KD is one of those, hey, I just want to play. Right. And even when KD came out and he was a little bit rusty, Monty kind of got in his ear and was like, hey.
He did.
That's
true. That's a good point, yeah.
I don't know. I couldn't put it on Monty, but you got KD there to win that piece.
Michael, let me give you the quick answer. KD. Look, you got a chance to put the Clippers out of their misery. You the easy money sniper. Snipe them out of here. We should not be talking about the Clippers next week. If we are KD, that's on your head.
You shouldn't. And I think a lot of it vacillates between Monty and KD.
He's gonna say Booker. Booker's dropping. He done dropped 40 in the last couple of games.
And then he don't mess with that little girl no more. They bad luck. So yeah, I think.
Oh, you mean the Black Cats of California? No, they're the Black Cats of Calabasas. He done left that Kardashian narcotic alone, Mike. He in playoff mode.
Right.
No, Mike, it's KD, damn it. Ain't no damn Booker, it's KD. You moved to heaven and the earth to bring KD out west. It's KD. You think about it. You got a chance to go up against the Joker and them Jokers in the second round. You know you better than them. Yep. You're gonna get them out the paint. Then you have the winner of Golden State series and the Memphis Lakers series, those series might both go 7. You might have a injured, limping in team coming in to play you, and you done had 2 rounds of light work. This is huge for you, KD. You better get this done.
Better kick ass.
And with that being said, Tasha, who you shouting out today?
I'm gonna shout out my mommy. My
Hey,
mommy
mama.
will be official retirement age on Tuesday.
All right.
Yes, shouts out to my mommy. And shouts out to my local supplier who gave me a little 420 gift bag. I got a little. Oh, hey! This is the. I had one last night, which is why I got this lovely caramel cake, because you know when you smoke, you tend to get the munchies.
Father fix it.
So this is he gave me a little gift bag for 420 because I'm such a valuable customer. So I'm gonna.
Well, that's good. You got kind of like a Costco card then, huh? You get prices off
You
your
get a free
gas.
punch, and after 10 punches, you get a free sack.
Well, congratulations to Miss Sharon. That is awesome. I want to give a shout out to Jaren Jackson Jr., the second youngest player to ever win Defensive Player of the Year. I want to give a shout out to Mike Brown for keeping it brown with the Coach of the Year. He deserved that. He earned that. And rewind the tape if you want to get the roses from Tasha. She made an excellent case for why he's such a great coach and went through his resume. I want to give a shout out to them. I also want to give a shout out to the Pearl Cone Fiber family. We've lost another member in Brian Watson. I remember he was a basketball player for Pearl Cone as we talk about basketball. Class of 92, stand up where you're in our thoughts and our prayers. It's like, hey, y'all, this ain't no game no more, man. Like for the people who watching this, we're all in the same era, and the death angel is knocking on our doors now. So hug your friends a little tighter. You know, forgive offenses. You know, give your mama her flowers. Don't put them on her gravesite. Give them to her while she's alive. Let her smell them. And with Mother's Day coming up, again, congratulations to you, Miss Sharon.
Now she will still be working. She's already told me she's still going to work.
We want to give a happy birthday to Michael Harris. Chi-Town, stand up to Michael Harris. Happy birthday.
Nothing.
He love them Bulls, don't he? He love them Bulls and them Bears. Football season is hilarious when he get to talk about them Bears. So happy birthday, Mr. Harris. Thank you, Miss Hastings, for that. Shamika Nicole, hearts back to you. And on that note, wait a minute, who y'all got today? Somebody drop it in the comments. Lakers or Grizzlies? Tasha, who you going with today? Who you said you got the Lakers tonight?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Lakers tonight. I'm gonna go with the Lakers.
Y'all, Ja Morant gonna come back out tonight with the rolls, the corn rolls up. Dylan Brooks is gonna be corn rolled up. We got Orange Mound in the house. We got Memphis in the house. Tasha, I need you to take a nap. It's a 9:15 tip off. Wait a minute. Mike said LeBron, he gonna drop 50. I agree with that, Mike. 50 in an overtime loss. Let's see what is Martrice says. Big Milk. That's what we talking about. Well, they coming in. Wait a minute. Hold on. What we got here? Making easy money.
Making easy money, pimping.
Hey. We gonna be whooping that trick out there in Tinseltown.
We smoking sacks, mama. Sacks.
Lord, that's 2 weed references in one show. Well, on that note, we know what Tasha's gonna be doing today. I am about to get my housework done so I can be ready to kick back on the couch and watch another great day of NBA basketball. Do not forget, ladies and gentlemen, we have a special TEP After Dark coming to you live on Thursday night. We're going to be live from the NFL draft. We will be in the building. Michigan Mike will be back on set and in the building. We will be going through the top 11 picks until the Tennessee Titans make their selection. Tasha, you be nice to me on Thursday. Right, Space Age Pippin, throw up your mad dog, you sniffers.
New day.
Right. So once again, ladies and gentlemen, when you see us live on Thursday, it is your eyes are not deceiving you. Click in. We're going to be talking plenty of football. We saved all the football topics for Mike for Thursday because we're going to be talking all the way through the first.
And I get to cuss.
And she gets to cuss, y'all. It's TEP after dark. Once your kids is tucked away and sleep. Ladies and gentlemen, we will see y'all. Wait a minute. I always say 6 days of 23 hours. I don't know the math on Thursday. Anybody? We'll see you Thursday night, damn it. 7 o'clock Central Time, right here. Until then, whoop that trick. Whoop that trick. Whoop that trick. Hey! We out. Where's the end button? Oh, there's the end button.
I need you to get this together, sir. We've only been doing this show for how many years?